Okay, welcome back to another episode of the In the Huddle podcast. We got another tier list here today. I'm your host, Sam Gold. We got ranking NFL uniforms. So just a precursor. The tier list picture only has the home jerseys up, but we're just going to do their uniforms as a combination, as a whole, both their home and away uniforms. So, our awesome producer, Alessandro, he's going to, put up some pictures while I'm talking about different teams, so you can get a real idea of what their full uniform combinations look like. Yeah, we're just not going to mention, like throwback and alternate uniforms. We're just going to go straight up their normal home and away uniforms and helmets. So here we go. We got 5 tiers. We got the elite tier, the very good tier, decent, meh, and then just awful. So, look, the good thing about the NFL is that I love most of the uniforms. Not love, but I enjoy looking at most of the uniforms. I think very few teams have really just, not done well with their color combo. I know that this is early April, and I believe within the next few weeks, a few teams are going to come out with their new uniforms. So, unfortunately, we're not going to include that. We're just going to rank it based on the 2023 season, what they had. That includes the Broncos. I know they're coming out with new combinations. The Texans. I believe the Lions just announced yesterday that something like April 18th they're coming out with new uniforms. So I think the Jets are doing a rebrand as well. A lot of teams this offseason. So we're not going to include it because obviously we don't know what it looks like. So it's going to be based off of the last season that we had. Okay, here we go. We're going to start off with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is a classic uniform. If you guys check out our social media at In the Huddle Podcast, at In the Huddle Pod, actually, not podcast. On Instagram, we did it was me versus AI. We did a draft of uniforms. And the 49ers ranked very high for AI because, it's just one of those classic uniforms. And you know what? It was on my top 10 list as well. I just didn't get to draft it because I love these uniforms. Now, the jerseys that they showed here are kind of like their weird alternate jerseys. But just the straight up red and gold. I love the helmet. It's just a classic color scheme. For some reason, it just goes well with like San Francisco. I don't know what it is. Maybe those gold helmets just look good in the sun. It's a solid classic uniform. It's not elite, but I'm going to put it in very good. I really like the classic look for the 49ers. Plus, the reason why I feel like it's classic is because they haven't really done much with it. You think back all the way back to the days of Joe Montana. They had those red and gold. It looked really good. Okay, the Jets. I was actually thinking about this earlier. I don't know where I stand on the Jets because I didn't like the rebrand that they did 5 years ago when they turned to the green helmets. They still have them. But, I saw them in person 3 different times this season. And I don't know. They look good in person. I like the green tint on the helmet. Especially I saw them in prime time. It looked good. I saw Chiefs-Jets, which is when the Jets wore their all-white, like, kind of throwback uniforms. Now, I just said I don't really want to include the throwback, which is why I'm torn, because that's been rumored. If they're coming out with new uniforms, it's been rumored that, those all cool, the ones that Aaron Rodgers got hurt in, if you show a picture, the all-white with the green helmet, that's rumored to be their new uniforms, but I got to go based just off of last season. No weird alternates. They're normal uniforms. So with that being said, I think they're just under the meh category, but I will say the green helmet is pretty sick, especially in person. It looks good. Maybe decent. No, I'm going to go meh. I'm going to go meh for now. Okay, Cowboys. It's another one of those classic uniforms. I'm not going to put it in elite. I'm only going to put a few teams in elite. There's really a few teams that stand out to me. But the Cowboys is another very good. It's just one of those uniforms. Now, I don't like their blue jerseys that much. I think just the classic white with those weird... Is it silver anymore? It looks like a weird version of blue nowadays. It feels like it gets bluer as the seasons go on. It used to just be straight up silver. I don't know. It has like a weird blue tint to it. But I kind of like it. And then, obviously the classic star on the helmet. That's just one of the most iconic logos and helmets in the NFL. So you can't really put the Cowboys too far back. I'll put them behind the 49ers, but they're right there in the very good category. Okay, Tennessee Titans. This is another one where I think that most people like the rebrand that the Titans did a few years back, where they went to the dark blue jerseys, the dark blue helmet. Everybody now thinks of these uniforms as just Derrick Henry, him stiff-arming, people in prime time. So people, like those uniforms for those reasons. They've been, since they switched those uniforms, they got Tannehill, and then Mike Vrabel was the coach, and then they started being good. But I don't know. There's something about those older... I like the white helmets. I really do. And, as much as I want to include the Oilers on this. I can't, because obviously the Oilers are elite. Those uniforms are elite that they wore this year with Will Levis, elite. But we're going based off the normal Titans uniforms. I'm between meh and decent. I think if I just like the one with the white helmet better. I like when they go their powder blue jerseys. The powder blue looks good. And that's one of my favorite colors. You'll see that later on with the Chargers ranking. But I don't know, their main uniforms is that all navy with the navy helmet. I'm just not a fan, to be honest. I'm gonna go meh. I'm gonna go behind the Jets. I think more people would probably put it higher, but I'm not gonna put it higher. Okay, the Dolphins. Now I am teetering between elite and very good. Now, unfortunately, I'm a huge proponent of being a fan of the Dolphins uniforms. Like, I have a Dolphins uniform. I'm a Chiefs fan. I have a Dolphins jersey upstairs. But the caveat is that it's the throwback uniforms. If, Al, you want to throw up the throwback Dolphins uniforms, the one that Dan Marino used to wear, the Dolphins do wear them once or twice a year. It's that darker teal with it has a better logo on the helmet. It's kind of got like the arch dolphin instead of like the wavy dolphin that they have now on the helmet. So, you know what? I'm going to put the Dolphins at the top of very good. It pains me because I really like the aqua. But you know what? They don't wear the aqua that much. Like, they are a team that wastes their good uniforms. Now, I understand. They're playing at home. You know, it's Miami. They want to wear white so they're not sweating their asses off. But I don't know. I feel like last year, how many times did they wear their teal? Twice? Like, at all? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's being wasted. And I'm not going to put an elite. If they go back to their throwbacks, it's elite. But I'm going to put it at the top of very good. Panthers. I'm going to go decent for Panthers. I think it's an underrated uniform, especially when they wear their blue. I like the blue with the silver pants. They got a great logo. The silver helmet meshes well with the blue shirt. Now, this is the black jersey. I think the black jerseys are still decent. You know, I would put the blue uniforms maybe at the bottom of very good, but overall, they wear the black jerseys more often. Yeah, I like it. I think it looks good. They have like a cool end zone design when they have Carolina Panthers in the end zone. I think it meshes well with the kind of look that they have. And they just slightly switched their blue this year, which I've never seen a team do that, where they just switched like one shade of blue on their jerseys, and I like it. So yeah, I think right smack dab in the middle, maybe at the top of decent, is where the Panthers belong. Okay, the Saints. This is another one like the Dolphins where I'm teetering on elite, but I think I'm going to put it at the top of very good. I'm still saving it for a few teams at the top. Ooh, do I like the Saints uniforms better than the 49ers is the question. I like the Saints when they go black with gold. I think more people like the black on black, but I like the black with gold with the gold helmet. I think they have one of the best helmets in the NFL. They got a cool logo. It just fits that dome. Like I will admit, when they're wearing the all black in that dome, because it's the only stadium in the NFL without natural sunlight coming into the stadium, there's just that cool vibe you get with the Superdome with those uniforms. You know what? Even with the all black, I think I am going to put it above the 49ers. Not the Dolphins. You can't beat the Aqua too much there. But, yeah, the Saints are definitely up there. I like the Saints. Black and gold's a good combo. Okay, the Browns. Now, if this was a few years ago, if this was before COVID, when they had those other uniforms, or maybe it was before Baker came. I think it was before Baker came along. They had the ugliest uniforms. I mean, you could put it up again. Like, it was back when they went 0-17. It's just a terrible look. I don't know what it was. They strayed away from their classic design that they had, that now, luckily, they went back to. They have, you know, a little more classic design with their brown jerseys. I love when they wear the brown jerseys with the orange pants. I think that looks great. They don't look good when they wear the all brown. That doesn't look good. But I don't know. I think it's a classic look. I think a lot of people rank them low. They hate on the brown, but that color combo, brown and orange, doesn't look too bad to me. So I'm gonna put it in decent. I think it's another one of those underrated uniforms that people hate on, but I don't mind it. Okay, the Bears. This one's gonna be controversial. I'm gonna put it in meh. I'm gonna put it at the top of meh. But I think a lot of people look at the Bears uniforms, and it is, as one of the most classic uniforms in the NFL. I don't know, it's just kind of boring to me. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not a big, you know, I just showed it with the Titans. I'm not a big, like, navy blue fan. I think the logo, it's just a C on the helmet. It's kind of boring. I know it's classic, but I don't know, it just doesn't pop out to me as anything interesting, the Bears uniform, you know? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Bears uniform. I know it's a classic that people like, but I'm just going to put it in meh for now. Patriots. I'm going to put it at the bottom of meh. I don't want to say they're awful. I went to go see Patriots Chiefs this year, and it didn't look terrible in person with the all navy. I mean, the uniforms that they have with Tom Brady were way better with the silver pants. It just looked more classic. I actually like, a lot of people are like, oh, I love the throwback red uniforms with the white helmet, and I love them too. But I actually like the 1990s lighter blue that they used to have. I thought those were underrated uniforms. But yeah, I don't know. They kind of remind me of how like the Patriots suck now. So like they look bad in those uniforms while they're playing bad. And I don't know. I think the redesign wasn't quite as good as their classic Brady uniforms. So I'm going to put it at the bottom of meh. Just like with Elite, I'm going to save just a few teams for the awful tier. So these middle tiers will probably get a little bit more crowded. All right, Bengals. This is the first one I'm putting in Elite. Now, I will say that the helmet probably carries 75% of the load here with the uniforms. But once again, I've mentioned this before. My dad's a Bengals fan. We're in, his studio right now. There's tons of memorabilia around us. I mean, just look at the helmet. Like, it's such a perfect helmet. It's such a cool design. When you go into the stadium, it's like all jungle themed. They play Welcome to the Jungle while they come out in these uniforms. It's sick. It's absolutely sick. I actually even like, I have another Bengals helmet. Here's their old one. I like this design too. This is a cool one where they used to have just the word Bengals on it. I think their logo is sick when they have like the roaring tiger on it. Or roaring Bengal. I don't know why it's called tiger. It's literally called the Bengals. But you think I'm a Bengals fan. I'm in a room full of Bengals stuff. I'm wearing black and orange today. But I'm a Chiefs fan. Just a disclaimer. But I don't know. It's hard to deny, especially now that they have those white uniforms with the white helmets. I know it's not included in this, but I still have to give it a mention. It's pretty sick. But no, the Bengals are cool. The stripes on the jerseys as well. I like when they wear the orange jerseys with the black pants. That's sick as well. So yeah, they're going to be our first Elite tier. Okay, the Ravens. This is another one. I just like a lot of these uniforms, to be honest. This is a more positive episode than our fan base episode that just came out. I mean, you're seeing some of the comments. Go check it out. I love all the comments, good or bad. Like, it's just fun to engage with you guys, see what your opinions are. We just came out with a ranking NFL fan bases tier list, so go check out that video. But this one is going to be a lot more positive because I just really like these uniforms of a lot of these teams. The Ravens is going to be another high one. I think I'm going to put it... Do I like the Ravens better than the Saints uniforms is the question, and I think I do. Because purple is a little more rare than black in the NFL, and they really pulled it off. Like the Vikings, we'll get to the Vikings. They're a solid uniform, but there's something about the Ravens that's a little more intimidating. It's a little cooler, especially at night. I think their helmets mesh well with the uniforms, the black, with the gold, a little bit of gold tint in their logo. Just looks a little more intimidating. They got the lights flickering whenever they score a touchdown on a primetime game, mixed with those color rush uniforms. Like, Lamar looks great in it. I just think, I'm going to put it smack dab in the middle of Dolphins and Saints in the very good category. I think they're even close to Elite. Like, do I put, Al, what do you think? Do I put the Ravens above the Dolphins, or is the Aqua just unmatched? I am really struggling right here. I feel like I need a second opinion before I regret my decision here. I am they are neck and neck with each other.
Yeah, I think they're very close. I would put them in the same category.
You know what I'll say? I think the Dolphins look slicker when they're wearing their whites. I think the Ravens look a little unintimidating when they're wearing their whites, which is why I'm going to put the Ravens slightly behind. I mean, if I want to use the unintimidating thing, then no one looks intimidating in Aqua, so I guess I can't say that. But I don't know. It's close. I guess I just torn down my argument if I wanted to use that, but I'm going to give it a dead tie. They're both tied at the top of very good. I can't decide. Okay, Packers. Ooh, I want to go Elite, but I'm going to save it. I think there's only one other uniform, maybe two, that straight up goes in Elite. And I'm going to save it. The Packers are classic. I'm going to put the Packers between the 49ers and the Cowboys. Some people don't like the Packers uniforms. They kind of think that green is ugly, but and I understand, but it's just so it's probably the most classic uniform in the NFL, maybe other than the Cowboys. Like, it's just like, never change Packers. Like, never change your logo. I love the yellow helmet. I kind of like it because it's pretty similar to the Chiefs uniform, just in design. The Chiefs uniform is pretty much just red and yellow, and the Packers are green and yellow. Like, it's a very similar helmet. I don't know. I just like it's such a classic look. It meshes so well with the Midwest. You got the cheese heads. I don't know. it's a very, very solid uniform, and I think that, there's a lot of very good so far, and it goes right there. Okay, the Bucs. I'm gonna put the Bucs in decent. I'm gonna put it between the Browns and the Panthers. I think, once again, kind of like the Browns, if this was back in the Jameis Winston days, those uniforms were terrible. I don't know what they had. It was like a weird pewter jersey with what was it, like red and orange shoulder pads, or it was a red jersey with pewter and orange shoulder pads, something like that. I mean, pewter alone is kind of an ugly color, so I don't love their helmets. I like their logo, so that helps the helmet. But I think once Tom Brady came onto the team and they went back to their classic look, I like their numbers now. I think their numbers were a little too blocky, if that makes sense, back 4 or 5 years ago before Brady. I think it looks a lot more classic. It looks like the year they won their first Super Bowl. So I think it looks a lot better. And, I keep saying this, like, I'm not obviously ranking the alternates, but I got to throw a little bone for the creamsicles. I would not mind if the Bucs went to the creamsicles permanently. I love those uniforms. So, I think right in the middle is where they deserve here. Okay, this is going to be 2 out of, I'm going to say, 3 teams that go in the elite tier. This one pains me, but, because it's my least favorite team in the NFL. But I'm going to have to put the Las Vegas Raiders in the top. I'm sorry. As much as I dislike them, they just have elite uniforms. There's nothing else to say about that. Now, nowadays, the team isn't so good, so I was about to say they're probably the most intimidating home uniforms in the NFL. But the Raiders as a team really haven't been actually intimidating in decades, so I can't really say that. But I don't know, if you put any squad out there in a Raiders uniform, they just look extra crisp, extra good, especially those home uniforms in the new stadium too now. I mean, it kind of looked cool in the Oakland A's stadium with the baseball field in those uniforms. That looked kind of like scrappy, but I don't know, even their away uniforms are solid, especially the color rush when they go all white with the silver numbers. Their logo is one of the best logos in the NFL. It's got the pirate, the eye patch. It's sick. So yeah, it pains me. I hate the Raiders, but I like the uniforms, and that is a great segue into the next one. Another team that I don't like in our division that also has, our division has elite uniforms other than the Broncos. The Broncos uniforms, we'll get to them. I don't like them at all. But, the Chiefs, okay. Let's talk about the Chargers. They're also elite, and they're at the top of elite. They're my favorite uniforms in the NFL. Once again, if you go to our social media, you look at me versus AI. We did a draft of the top 5 best uniforms. I rank the Chargers number 1. For some reason, it's not letting me put the Raiders. There we go. Okay, yeah, I put the Chargers number 1. They're number 1 in the NFL. And I would have not said they were number 1 back in the Phillip Rivers days. It's when they changed during COVID, when Justin Herbert became quarterback. They went back to the throwback. They got the numbers on the helmet with the sick. I love the white helmet with the yellow bolt. It looks great with the numbers especially. And then the powder blue. Powder blue is one of my favorite colors. The powder blue and yellow combination with the bolt on the shoulders and the thighs. It's sick. It's a great uniform in that new stadium as well. It looks clean. It looks fresh. I mean, even when they go with their navy alternates, it looks cool. Or the royal blue alternates, it looks cool. If they wear all white, it looks good. If they wear white with yellow, it looks good. Every single color combination for the Chargers looks slick, looks crisp, and it sucks that it's wasted on the Chargers because they're a shit franchise. But they have cool uniforms. So it sucks that a team that doesn't put out a great product has to wear those every week. But we're just here to rank the uniforms, not the teams. So there you go. That's number 1, and that will stay number 1. So don't give your hopes up. Fan bases of other teams that want their team to be number 1 because the Chargers are the best. Okay. Steelers, very good. Another team that is close to being elite. I'm going to put it right between the Saints and the 49ers. Another team that just has classic uniforms that should never change. They're the only helmet in the NFL to have their logo on just one side of the helmet. I think that's pretty cool. Just a classic logo as well. Nothing beats the black and yellow in that environment, especially in prime time when they're playing at Heinz Field. Everybody's waving the terrible towels, and they're wearing not only their home uniforms, but the all-black color rush is sick. I even like the Bumblebees. Like, people hate the Bumblebee uniforms. I kind of like them. So they're just one of those classic uniforms. Also another uniform where the team just looks intimidating when they're wearing it. Okay, this is the Lions. I'll put the Lions at the top of decent. Oh, do I like the Lions or the Panthers better? I like the Lions better. I I do think, though, what they had in the 90s was a little bit better. There was something about their logo that was a little bit more simple. Just it was a full gray lion on the helmet. I think they had a slightly lighter blue, I want to say, and a little bit more silver. I don't like that they wear all blue a lot now. I don't like the all grays that much either, but I think when they wear the straight up blue and silver, it looks very slick. It looks great with the silver helmet as well. They're going for a redesign though this season, so I hope they don't mess with it too much, because I do like their uniforms. And yeah, I'm gonna put it at the top of decent, so they're solid. Okay, the Jaguars. They're similar to the Panthers in that I hate that they just wear their black jerseys so much more often than their teals, just like how the Panthers wear their black more than the blue, because I think both the blue and the teal look better for those teams. I mean, the Jags have probably one of the best logos in the NFL. I love their logo. I was not a fan of the helmet that they used to have with Blake Bortles with the half gray or half matte, half gold, half matte black. I don't like those helmets at all. So I'm glad they went back to a little bit more of a simple uniform. I'm going to put them right between the Panthers and the Bucs. I'm going to put them in decent. I think when they wear the teal, looks good. I like the teal with the white with their helmet. I think that looks great, especially at home in the sun. It looks nice. But they just don't wear it that often, so I don't know. They're right in the middle. Chiefs. I'm going to put the Chiefs at top of decent. Now, obviously, I'm a Chiefs fan, so I think this is pretty unbiased, though. I think the Chiefs are smack dab in the middle row. I think they're at the top of decent just because they have such a classic uniform. Now, the thing that drew me to the Chiefs as a kid, loving their uniforms, was their helmet. I think they have one of the best helmets in the NFL. I love just the red helmet, no stripe on it. I like their logo. I like kind of like the squiggly arrow that they have. You know, I think it just looks classic. It's a nice uniform. I clearly didn't pick the Chiefs just because they have elite uniforms, but I still enjoy, especially when they just wear the classic red on white. It looks good. I like the white on white too. The white on white looks great. I like when they do their red helmet with a gray face mask. They'll occasionally do that. It looks nice. I like when they wear their red on white and then they have the yellow end zones in Arrowhead. I think that looks cool as well. But yeah, I've heard people be like, they're not great. They kind of just look like McDonald's employees. Like, I get that. But I don't know. I think they're good enough to be in the middle tier at the top because they're classic. Okay. Cardinals. This is going to be our first. Ooh, do I put it in awful? Because actually, I was about to say awful. But I actually do like their all-white uniforms with the silver face mask. I think it looks kind of cool. The all-black is fine, but the all-red that they wear, them and the Commanders wear this all-red now with their new uniforms. I just don't like it. You know what? I'm going to put it in awful. I'm sorry. I do like the all-whites. I actually like the all-whites, but yeah, I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. I kind of blew you off in the last tier list, too. Like, I just put you guys in non-existent. So if you're out there, I know some of you are existent. I'm sorry. There's just not a lot going for you guys right now, and I'm just not a big fan. Plus, the helmet is boring. It's just a white helmet, and the Cardinal logo's fine, but it's nothing special. Seahawks. I'm going to put the Seahawks in very good. I'm going to put it at the bottom of very good, though. I think that it's a newer uniform. I think the helmet's sick. Although, now that we've seen what their, newer look, classic uniforms look like with the blue and silver, where they went back to the throwbacks. Like, now that's having everybody long to have those as your permanent uniform. So it kind of put a taint on your regular uniforms for a few years now. Especially if you're going to wear that at least once a year. Because those are better. So I would have probably put it higher a couple years ago, but now that I see what those clean throwback uniforms look like, I'm kind of longing for them to pick that as their new uniforms as well. So look, I still like their uniforms. People hate the neon green color rush. I actually kind of like it, especially in primetime. I think it looks fun. It's fun. Why not? No one else has a neon green uniform. Why not? And their logo is pretty cool too, and it looks good in that stadium, especially in primetime. So I'll put it at the bottom of very good. Broncos, awful. I've never been a blue and orange guy in general, but I think with their helmet, they should definitely go back to the D on their helmet with the horse, going upwards with the guy on it with the weapon, whatever it is. You can put a picture up. I like that helmet better. The old John Elway helmets in the very beginning of his career, those were sick. And And I don't know. I don't like when they wear their blue jerseys. I think their orange is better than the blue, but it still doesn't look too good. I don't know. There's just something about those uniforms. They're doing a redesign, so hopefully it can get a little bit better. People don't like the orange crush that much. I like the orange crush with the white helmet. I think that looks fine. But yeah, Broncos are definitely at the bottom. This is the Giants uniform. Sorry, they look so basic, which is why I'm gonna put them at the bottom of decent. I mean, it's just it's not. No one really has a strong opinion. Like it's a classic. I like their older helmets better. I like when they were the throwbacks. They do it now about twice a year, where it just has the Giants word on the helmet instead of just the NY. But I don't hate it. I don't really have a strong opinion on the Giants uniform. I feel like bottom of the middle tier is perfect. I think it looks fine. It looks fine. Bills. I'm gonna put it in meh. I'm not a big fan of the Bills uniform, to be honest. I'm gonna put it behind the Titans. I think they need another redesign. I initially liked when they went back to the white helmets, but now that I'm thinking back to it, I do think their blue jerseys with the red helmets back in the 90s and the early 2000s, I do think that was a little bit better. The old Jim Kelly uniforms, I would like for them to go back to that. I do like when they wear their all red color rush. That looks cool as well, but I don't know. It's kind of just another boring scheme, just red, white, and blue. It's pretty simple, basic. I'm not a huge fan of it. The Rams. Now, if this was the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots with Jared Goff, those uniforms, that would be an elite. But now they just look like IKEA employees. It's gross. I don't like the redesign. I don't like the helmet at all. I don't like the logo. So, okay, I don't hate it, but these are the uniforms I'm just gonna have to put in decent. If it was back a few years ago, it'd be so much higher. But I'm gonna put it between the Jags and the Bucs. I just don't like what they did. I really don't. It just looks too futuristic. It doesn't look like the Rams anymore. Please go back to the Todd Gurley uniforms. They were so much better. Texans. Now, they came out with a leak. If we could try to get a picture up here. They came out with a leak of their new uniforms. Those look awesome. But the ones they have now are kind of whatever. They're boring. I'm going to put it above the Bills in meh. I think it's another one. This is red, white, and blue once again. Navy blue this time. I like the red helmets that they have that they wear a couple times a year. Those are cool. But I don't know. It's just kind of boring. Their logo's boring. And that's about it. Yes, Al.
We decided if we're going to keep this there now, but I would say, like, careful what you say about Texans fans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, no hate. We got some Texans fans in the comments for our fan base video saying some not very nice words to us about calling them non-existent. Look, Liz, yeah, I didn't expect it. I called you guys non-existent, which, by the way, for the first 5 minutes of the video, I explained I know that the fans of every team exist, but it has to be in comparison to other franchises. Like, I'm sorry that I've never met a Texans fan, and probably 90% of people watching haven't met one either. You guys are one of the newest franchises in the NFL. You probably have one of the lowest followings. Like, I'm sorry. That's where I had to put you. I'm not saying you guys are bad people or not loyal or passionate. Like, okay, anyways. I don't want to get too much into it. It's just funny. Like, I literally had a disclaimer. Like, I literally made Jaguars fans as the example. I was like, I know you guys are going to come in with your army saying that you exist. I know you guys exist, but I have to put something in the doesn't exist category. Yeah, exactly. The real fans that don't exist are the ones that still haven't commented about their team. All right. Vikings. I'm gonna put it at the top of decent. Right above the Chiefs. I think they're another classic uniform. I like the late 90s Vikings better, though. The Randy Moss, when they had the dark purple. Dude, those dark purple helmets with a little more yellow in the uniforms, those were the elite uniforms that they used to have back in the day. The Chris Carter, the late 90s, those were sick. I don't like the lighter shade of purple on the helmet. It kind of makes them look unintimidating. I still like it. I mean, it's the top of decent. It's a classic uniform. You know, it's the only other purple team besides the Ravens. But, you know, they wore cool uniforms in week 1 last year. I don't know if they're ever going to do a redesign, but those were sick. They kind of had, like the white face mask. It was cool. They only wore it once or twice, I think. But, yeah, they're fine. They're decent. They're at the top of decent. Maybe could have went at the bottom of very good, but I think just because I'm thinking back to their 90s uniforms, I can't put them that high. Their logo's sick, though. One of the best logos in the NFL. I'm not talking about the horn. The horn is cool on the helmet, but the Viking guy logo with the yellow beard and whatever, that's a sick logo. That's one of the best in the NFL. So Look, I could put it at very good, but I'm gonna wait. I'm sorry, Al. I know. Al's a Vikings fan, and I apologize. Falcons. I'm gonna put the Falcons in meh. I'm gonna put them between the Titans and the Texans. Now, when they originally came out, I was gonna put them in awful, but I've had some time to think about it. Now that I'm looking at like the Texans, the Bills, and the Patriots, I do think the Falcons have better uniforms than them. I don't know. It's just I do miss the Matt Ryan era where they had the red jerseys with just the white pants. I think that looked great. I think their old logo looked better. I actually like the red helmet that they have better. I don't know. It's just boring. It's boring. I don't like the all black that much. I do like the jerseys where they have the red fading into the black. That's pretty cool. But they only wear that once a year, so it's not really the real uniforms. I think the ATL in the uniforms too. I don't like the font. I don't like the design of that. So it's whatever. Colts. I'm gonna put this like pretty much the most average uniform in the NFL. I'll put the Colts like, I don't know, between the Rams and the Bucs, like smack dab in the middle. I think it's like the Giants, where it's a classic uniform. I really have nothing bad to say about it, but I'm not jumping out of my seat to like rave about the Colts uniforms. Like I don't want them to change though. I think it's a good solid classic uniform that shouldn't change. Commanders. This is going to be our final one in the awful tier, and I think they have the worst uniforms in the NFL. I'm going to put them dead last. I mean, the color combination is just kind of gross. I'm sorry, I miss the Redskins uniforms. They had a cooler logo. They had better color combination. I miss when they used to wear the yellow pants. I think the Commanders, when they wear the all blacks, is terrible. Like, that's not even Washington. I'm sorry. That looks like a completely different team. That looks like a high school team. Like, it looks terrible. The all red is gross. It looks like some fast food logo. Like, it just looks terrible. The W in the helmet's boring. Like, they didn't get creative with the name or the logo. I don't know. It looks terrible. They need to go back to at least the football team. Like, if they're going to go back to the football team. At least that was a little bit better. And then finally, our last team, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Ooh, I have an unpopular opinion about this one. I actually don't love the Eagles uniforms. I think a lot. It's like the Bears. It's a classic one that a lot of people like. I like when they used to have a white helmet with a green wing on it back in the 60s. That's an underrated uniform. I don't know why I like that one. It's when they were completely a shitty franchise, but I don't know. I kind of like that one. Everyone loves the Kelly Greens. I think the Kelly Greens is a little bit overrated with the gray wing. I'm not a big fan. You know what? Maybe I'm just not a big green guy. I don't know. I do have the Packers up high, so I don't know why I don't love the Eagles uniform. I want to love it. I'll put it in decent, and I'll put it between the Colts. No, I'll put it above the Rams. I think it's still a little bit better than the Rams uniform. But I don't know. I'm not like jumping out of my seat once again. Like, it's fine. It's a fine uniform. I'm just not a big, maybe dark green guy. I don't know what to tell you, Eagles fans. I know you guys love your uniforms, but it's just kind of whatever. It doesn't pop out to me. But wow, this is like pretty even. We have 3 in the elite, 3 in awful. We have our most amount of teams in the decent tier right smack dab in the middle. So I feel like this is a pretty even rating. I'll go through it one more time for you guys, but we're done. We did all 32 teams. So for the elite category, we have the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Bengals. Those are my top 3 uniforms in the NFL. For the very good category, we're going to go with the Dolphins, the Ravens, Saints, Steelers, 49ers, Packers, Cowboys, and Seahawks. Decent, we're going, this is also an order from best to worst in each tier list. I'm listing it. For the decent category, we're going Vikings, Chiefs, Lions, Panthers, Jaguars, Eagles, Rams, Colts, Bucs, Browns, and Giants. For the meh category, we're going Bears, Jets, Titans, Falcons, Texans, Bills, Patriots. And our 3 worst teams in the NFL in the awful category for uniforms, Cardinals, Broncos, Commanders. So there we go. That was a lot of fun. We're going to keep doing these tier lists throughout the offseason. We got the draft coming up. We're going to do a bunch of other videos. We got some creative, more, in different, scene videos. Different scene. What does that even mean? Different, what do I want to say? Different environments. I sound so stupid. How did I not think of the word environment? Yeah, we got a food review coming up this week. I won't specify which food though, but it's a lot of fun. It's a blind taste test, so look out for that video. But actually, I guess that video is coming out before this one, so I can't really say look out for all our new videos. That was a lot of fun. Please comment down below, where do you think I went wrong? Where do you think your favorite team should be in this tier list? Thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week with another video. Goodbye.